Now at 10, Doug Hetty has the latest on the storms in the area. Plus, the city of Joplin considers a sewer rate increase, what that means for residents. And
voting is underway, but are you safe? I'm Lonnie Walton in Jasper County. I spoke to officials and they told me the measures they're taking in order to keep you safe. I have all that information and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
storms are rolling through the 4 states tonight. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Let's check in first with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for the latest.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of severe weather, which has been rotating through over the past couple hours. Thankfully, we haven't seen much in the way of rotating storms, but we've had a lot of storms that have produced winds 60 upwards to 70 miles per hour, and that's what we are still seeing out there right now. Severe thunderstorm warning, Cedar, St. Clair, all the way back through Barton, also Vernon County, also a little guy in southern parts of Craig County. Severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m., but the western counties will start to get chopped off hour by hour as we go through the overnight hours. We had 2 lines of thunderstorms. They have now merged, so that is why we are mainly a wind threat. And you can see it's finally starting to push into the metro, Miami, Joplin, Neosho, Carthage. Things will really get going for you over the next hour or 2. If you live in this circle, you don't have to worry about any more severe weather for the rest of the overnight hours for us tonight, mainly pushing into southwestern Missouri. We're going to have more on this in your Halloween here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. We have a late developing story out of Crawford County, Kansas tonight. An employee with the Frontenac Fire Department reported a power pole down near a home with lines on an occupied vehicle. It's in the area of 580th and 40th, about 7 miles north of McCune. Sheriff Danny Smith says the driver thought they were tangled in the electric lines from the broken pole, but was able to get navigated away from the lines. There are no injuries and the electric company is on the scene. City of Joplin wants to make a change in its sewer rates. The city held a public meeting this evening to present information from the recent rate study of the city's wastewater treatment plant. The meeting gave the public a chance to learn about the study and proposed 4% annual sewer rate increases. City staffers were on hand to address public comments and questions.
We project them out over a 10-year period, even though it's a 5-year rate study. But we try to look ahead for the next 10 years. And then in addition to that, we do know that we will have an upcoming plant expansion for the Shoal Creek wastewater treatment plant.
If the rate hikes are approved, they would begin next year. In-person early voting is officially underway in Oklahoma. Now all 4 states in the area are open for early voting. According to the Oklahoma State Election Board, more than 167,000 people participated in early voting for the 2020 presidential election. Ottawa County election officials say they're predicting to see high turnout again this year. Long lines formed at some early voting locations, and officials encourage voters to be prepared with a valid ID before they come to cast their ballots.
You do not have to pre-sign up. You just have to come and be ready to fill out a sheet with your information on it and sign that, and then you get your ballot and you can vote like you would in your polling place.
Early voting in Oklahoma is going to continue until Saturday at 2 p.m. You do not have to pre-register to participate. If you're worried about safety at the polls this election, some local poll workers say you should not be concerned. KOAM's Lonnie Walton stops by both Jasper and Crawford counties to see how they're keeping you safe.
Biggest problem that we've had is people placing campaign signs where they're not supposed to or electioneering at the polls.
Charlie Davis is a Jasper County clerk. He says they may have had a few problems in the past, but definitely not like other places.
There has been other counties where there's actually been fights breaking out at the polls because of that. We haven't had that issue in Jasper County before, but it's pushed the envelope a little bit.
Lisa Lusker is the Crawford County clerk. She says although it's illegal to have police at polling sites, she says their poll workers are well trained. But just like Davis, she says there's really no issue.
Residents of Crawford County are for the most part, just responsible and just want to get the voting done, and everybody's been really relaxed about it.
One thing both Lester and Davis don't want to see is electioneering.
We might have some poll workers ask individuals to remove some of the hats, etc. And I just ask that all the voters be kind to our poll workers.
Both Davis and Lester say their communities are welcoming towards others with different views.
Just remember that we're all residents of Crawford County, and we want to see this done correctly too.
I think in Southwest Missouri we're going to be fine.
Reporting in Jasper County, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Both Davis and Lusker say they're going to have extra security on hand, and if you see something suspicious, you should report it to staff members. U.S. Representative Jake LaTurner arrived in his hometown of Galena, Kansas to host Salute to Service. The event recognized the work of the Kansas National Guard. A Black Hawk helicopter from the Kansas Army National Guard landed on the Galena High School football field, giving students a chance to meet the pilot and get a tour of the chopper. This is the first Salute to Service event at Galena High School in more than 25 years.
This is the first time I had ever seen a Black Hawk helicopter in person. So just seeing that flying in from Topeka with servicemen and women on board and our local hometown U.S. representative, I mean, that was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Recruiters also attended the event, giving students the chance to learn about career options with the National Guard. NEO A&M in Miami, Oklahoma celebrated the opening of a new nursing simulation with this ribbon cutting and open house today. The lab includes multiple simulation areas designed for high-fidelity simulated scenarios to teach and enhance skills and knowledge. The simulations provide the opportunity to train students on complex medical scenarios without risk to patients.
Thanks to our legislators, state of Oklahoma, to help us provide the funding for this nursing simulation lab. This nursing simulation provides a low-risk environment for our students to practice hands-on training in a simulation lab.
The NEO Nursing Simulation Lab was constructed and supplied with equipment thanks in part to ARPA funding from the state. The Wyandotte Nation also donated $100,000 toward that project. Local hunters could soon have a way to help area food banks. That story's coming up. And Freeman's littlest patients get dressed up for the holiday. Food banks in our area are preparing for their busiest time of the year and the financial struggles and food shortages that go along with the holiday season. However, there's one program in Missouri that could help with that. KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us how hunters could make a big difference this year.
A food pantry with empty shelves. Not the most ideal look, especially with the holidays coming.
So we try to put together at least a week's worth of as well-balanced food as we possibly can. We have to work with what we get and what we have, but we try to do the best we can.
Kathy Ginger, along with her husband Russ, run the Seneca Food Pantry. A majority of their food comes from Ozarks Food Harvest. But with so many other pantries receiving the same services,
people that come here, they're just like anyone else. They want to have the extras around the holiday.
Sometimes things come up a little short, especially when it comes to meat.
Getting meats has been hard. If someone has, packaged meat from either a, like a processor or from the store that hasn't been opened, we can receive perishable items.
I think right now it's the price of beef. Beef is skyrocketed.
However, the holiday season isn't the only thing going on this time of year. Many hunters in Missouri have either already begun or are getting ready for deer season.
If they want to do a total donation of their animal, they can do that. There's no cost to the hunter. They just bring it in. Now we do have to have a telecheck and confirmation number from their tag. And then there's no cost to them if they just want to drop it off.
Goodman Meat Processing is one of the local processors that partakes in what is known as Share the Harvest.
Another thing that Share the Harvest does is for people who are landowners. Say they don't need the meat because they raise their own beef or pork or whatever the case may be. This allows them an opportunity to manage the deer herd on their property without having to try and find a place to go with it.
Whether it's the hunter who bagged a trophy or a landowner needing to clear out the population, Share the Harvest provides the chance to do some good.
In our small community, I tell everybody that hunts, if you have extra deer that you're not going to use, donate it to the pantry.
In Newton County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Now, if you're looking for a way to help area food banks, well, we've got you covered. For 21 years, Fox 14, KOAM, and the CW have teamed up with our generous neighbors and friends like you to help support food pantries through Feed the 4 States, and we're doing it again this winter. There are several ways you can help. Head over to koamnewsnow.com/feed to check out all the ways you can help feed the 4 states. City of Joplin announced the theme for the 54th annual Christmas parade. You see it there. It's Winter Wonderland. The parade will be at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, December 3rd. The parade route's going to be on Main Street as usual from 15th Street to 2nd. Anyone interested in having an entry in the Winter Wonderland parade or just looking for more information can go to our website. Of course, that's koamnewsnow.com. And by the way, we hear there's going to be an appearance by Saint Nick, the man himself. Babies in the NICU at Freeman and Joplin put on their holiday best today. The tiniest patients at the hospital were dressed in a variety of costumes, such as Gatorade bottle and crayon, and even a teeny tiny version of Freeman Health System's president and CEO, Paula Baker. The event always brings smiles to the faces of the families on the NICU floor.
Well, we don't want the babies to miss their first Halloween just because they're here in the hospital. The families really love it. The nurses love it. We all love it. It's exciting for the families and for us.
There are currently 17 babies in the NICU at Freeman, every single one of them precious. A little bit later, the Show Me State cautions drivers to buckle up and put down their phones or they could be fined. We'll explain.
Plus, we still have a ways to go with thunderstorms tonight. Those details coming up. Well, of course, we have been tracking strong to severe thunderstorms rolling through over the past several hours. At least we are getting rain, and at least we haven't had any tornado warnings, but we have had some straight line wind damage with these storms as we've gone through the past couple hours. Looks okay right now. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Those storms are right on the back doorstep of Seneca, Missouri. All right, severe thunderstorm watch in the orange till 4 a.m. It's not going to stay until 4 a.m. The National Weather Service will start chopping off western counties as this line pushes through. And then still tornado watch in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. From this point on, we are mainly looking at straight line wind with these storms. And as they continue to push into southwestern Missouri, we'll see an overall slowly dissipating of the strength of these storms. We had two separate lines. They've now merged. That's why our tornado threat is pretty much gone. And it's really lining up right along the I-44 corridor, pushing into the metro, and now southwestern Missouri is starting to get into the action. First off, in this circle, so all of southeastern Kansas, good chunk of northeastern Oklahoma, right through Columbus, Pittsburgh to Lamar, you guys are done with severe weather. It's mainly southwestern Missouri as we go through the next couple hours. Very intense lines still. We're getting winds 50 to 60, occasionally 60 to 70. Strongest of these storms just west of Stockton. We can track south. Here's I-49, Lamar, Jasper, moving in to your neck of the woods very shortly. Carthage, Webb City, Oronogo, Joplin, down to Neosho over the next 30 minutes. Getting into Carl Junction, Baxter, Galena, all starting to pick up. Still a severe thunderstorm warning. Southern parts of Ottawa County moving into Miami. And then our counties south of I-44, southwestern Missouri, you guys still have about another hour to go, but these storms are going to start to book off toward the east pretty quickly. Let me take you through time. Here in about an hour, they're going to be really working into southwestern Missouri, and all this severe threat gone by about midnight, 12:30. And then it's just showers and thunderstorms. Through the night, we've had some pretty good amounts of rain. Most of us who have gone through this line have picked up 1 to 2 inches of rain already. So additional rainfall is mainly along the I-44 corridor, along and south. Obviously, our western counties not much more, but still 1 to 2 inches of rain for the areas that haven't had any rain, which of course we definitely need it. All right, the winds are going to diminish tomorrow out of the north, 10 to 15, so not near as windy as what we have seen over the past couple days. We start your Halloween with clouds, but eventually sunshine starts to peek out as we get into the afternoon. Cooler tomorrow, high temps into the mid 60s. Here's your day planner: 54 in the morning, 58 by noon. High temp right where we should be for this time of the year, 64 degrees. And of course, trick-or-treating tomorrow evening. It's going to be dry, a little chilly as we slide back through the 50s, but overall is looking pretty good. And guess what? We got more rain right on the back doorstep. This is moving in Saturday, Sunday, Monday into Tuesday morning. With this next round, after 1 to 2 inches of rain that we're getting tonight, this next round should produce 3 to 6 inches of additional rain this weekend. Also, don't forget your clocks. They drop back an hour Saturday night.
We've had little to no rain for weeks and weeks,
I know.
and all of a sudden, when it rains,
It'd be nice to spread it out.
That would have been nice, but I guess we'll take what we can get. Thanks, Doug. In Missouri and across the country, it's Buckle Up, Phone Down Day. MoDOT says more than 740 people have died in traffic crashes so far this year in the state. 63% of those were not wearing their safety belt. On top of that, safety advocates say distracted driving was cited as a cause in more than 100 Missouri traffic fatalities in 2023. MoDOT hopes the Buckle Up, Phone Down campaign helps people get used to safe routines.
Every time you get into the vehicle, we want you to think about your family that you're coming home to, your parents, your co-workers, everyone on the roadways. Buckling up while they get in the vehicle and putting their phone down, keeping that repetitive habit going is a big factor in just making sure that people remember to do those two simple tasks while driving.
And just in case you need any more motivation to break the habit of texting and driving, well, you should know you could soon be ticketed for it. Starting on January 1st, drivers could face fines of up to $150 if they're caught using their phone without a hands-free device, and that's just the first violation. Price jumps to $250 for a second conviction and to $500 for a third. Still ahead, Pitt State women's basketball gets a top 15 preseason ranking, and NEO basketball prepares for its season opener. John Dales has those stories and more. It's coming up next.
Special together.
Junior college basketball season's just a couple days away from tipping off here in the four states. The NEO men's and women's team make final preparations at practice this afternoon. NEO men's basketball is coming off a 27-5 campaign a year ago. They finished that season just 2 points shy of a trip to the national tournament. This year's Golden Norsemen are picked #1 in the preseason coaches poll for NJCAA Region 2 and the Oklahoma Collegiate Athletic Conference, so expectations remain high.
The main goal is always to make it to Hutch, make it to that final game. There's nothing, we don't want to accept nothing short of that. Besides that final game, we want to get to that trophy for sure. Our strengths, we're working on our defense right now, but our defense is pretty tough. Offense, we got a lot of scorers on our team. Everybody can score. And we got a lot of, we say dogs, we got a lot of dogs on our team, so it's going to be a good one for sure.
NEO women's basketball hits the practice floor this afternoon as well. The Lady Norse were also picked first in the Region 2 preseason poll. They went 12-19 last season, but as is the case almost anywhere at the JUCO level, this year's group has a ton of new faces, and the Lady Norse are ready to hit the ground running.
Our talent this year is definitely something that's exciting, you know what I mean? We all really do have a lot of heart, I feel like, and we know we have a good potential to get a good winning record this season. So I really think it's just kind of getting everybody mentally locked in.
For this year's group, we're a little bit more athletic. We're deeper in the guard spot. We amped up our post play. Our post play is a lot more athletic in there. We added some bigs. We added a 6'4", we added a 6'3", and so that's going to allow us to get up and down the floor a little bit better in transition.
Hey guys, I want to give you an update on severe weather which is pushing through. We do have a tornado warning. We've been watching this storm over the past 15 to 20 minutes. This is in Ottawa County. There have been some power flashes as it pushed through Veneta, so there may definitely be something on the ground. But you can see Miami, so this is right on top of Fairland. So if Fairland and Ottawa County, you definitely need to go take shelter right at this time. In fact, let me change up this radar for you just a bit so you can see it a little bit clearer. I want to switch it over to our velocity. So what we're looking at here is the green and the red. We always want to see where these two combine. And what this is showing us is our inbound green toward the radar, outbound red away from the radar. But here is our rotation. So passing through Afton, Fairland, you need to go ahead and take shelter right now. Miami, Commerce, I would go ahead as well. And then just downstream is Wyandotte and High Winds Casino. So we'll keep you updated. We're going to toss it to break right now. All right, guys, I want to give you an update on this tornado warning. And of course, from this point on for the rest of the night, we'll cut in on TV as need be, but we're always streaming on the KOAM TV or the KOAM Plus streaming app, which is TV, and then our KOAM Skywatch weather app, KOAM News app, and always find us on YouTube as well. But look at this little notch. So we're looking at Fairland. So you got your inflow notch here, and then you got the winds whipping around. So that is where our tornado is. It is radar indicated, but there have been some reports that possibly on the ground, it's nighttime, it's very hard to see. So Fairland, you need to be in your shelter. Also, if we look from Miami over toward Wyandotte, you want to go ahead and take shelter. And then if we look a little bit farther east of where is this storm going, you got Seneca, you got High Winds Casino right in here. Here's Seneca and Indigo. And this is pushing northeast, so this will kind of ride north right along the I-44 corridor, staying just south of it, but could definitely get into the south side of Joplin as we get through about the next 30 to 45 minutes. What I'm hoping happens here is this back band, as these two come together, it should kind of squash this guy. But right now, we have a very strong signature right on top of Fairland, about 7-8 miles just to the south of Miami. So tornado warning continuing to push northeast. High Winds Casino, Wyandotte, Indigo, Seneca, go ahead and take shelter. Of course, we're going to keep you updated. I hope you have a fantastic night.